All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kodash. Second of all, I want to give double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone, Elder Tahar, and on down to rule well. And third of all, I want to give a peace and safety to the hopeful elect out there, the brothers that push this truth, the truth of the King James Bible, and all truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe. All right, so I just want to do a short lesson to have alone the spirit of Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai allows it to go, and this is pretty much going to be an update on the famine. All right, and Lord Will's brothers can see on the screen. I did a simple Google search for how important is corn. All right, and it says corn is the primary U.S. uh uh feed grain, Salakia, accounted for more than 95% of total feed grain production and use. The United States is the largest producer, consumer, and exporter of corn in the world. All right, which that corn 95% of that corn is garbage because we know about Roundup and all those things, those chemicals they spray on them and things like that. You know, GMOs and all of that. It's poison, but corn is super important. All right. Um, let's click. Let's read this one real quick. And the lesson through the spirit and power how about Shabbat Shah is based off an article of the Zero Hedge, but I'm just trying to show how important corn is because corn is important, and the scriptures speak about corn. All right. It says you know It says the importance of corn feeding and fueling the world. It says the United States runs on corn both literally and figuratively. In the literal sense, corn contributes 10% of the fuel of all cars, so you need corn for fuel. In the U.S., the ethanol accounts for more than 40%, which the fuel reserves is already low. Um, this Then 40% of all corn production produce Salakia. Much of the remaining 60% of the corn produced goes to livestock feed, which is to your cattle and all that to help feed your cattle to beef them up. It is fuel for the animals and fuel for the citizens. The U.S. is the largest producer of global crops, but it is by no means the only one, according to Chad Hart, Association professor of economics at Iowa State University, and led exports on corn. China, the next largest producer, plants nearly, and we're beef right now with China. All right, and right now there's a drought going on in America. All right, the crops are being destroyed in what they call the Corn Belt, which is like the Midwest. And again, it's going to mention that in the article I got through the Spirit and Power of Yahweh Shem Shai that Yahweh Shem Shai gave me. And the plants nearly the same amount of acreage as the U.S. 97 million acres in 2020, although it yields about 25 to 30% less. In third place is Brazil, which produces less than half of China's output. All right, so this is a little, how to show how important corn is. To use it in gas, to use it, of course, we eat it. Um, people eat it and use it to help beef up the livestock for the cattle here in America. All right, 1 second. Pull up the article. Yeah, where is the article? Okay, the article's gone. Salakia, brothers, I gotta get the article back up. Alright, Salakia, brothers. And Lord Woods, brothers can see on the screen. This is the article that I was speaking on. And it says the U.S. corn crop deteriorates after Midwest hit by worst drought in decades. Alright, it says farmers in Corn Belt states, which is like the Midwest areas, have been very concerned about their crops this spring as droughts expand across the heartland. Alright, and this is the most high plague in this place, man. The latest weekly report for the U.S. Drought of Agriculture shows the U.S. corn crops deteriorating by the most in nearly 3 years. All right, as droughts conditions worsen in the Midwest, about 64% of the nation's corn crops was rated good to excellent in the weekly report, 5% point plague that was the most significant decline since August 2020. The drought was more than double of any analyst surveyed by Bloomberg. All right. It says, according to the U.S. Drought Monitor, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Ohio, and Wisconsin, Slovakia, often called the Corn Belt states, are experiencing an especially drought to moderate drought. And the time of the drought this early in the season could stress young plants. Right there, you see it. Here's some photos, some pictures of how bad it is. It says emerging signs of a corn drought 2023 are raising concerns rather the pattern and the weather. I can bring in consideration of the weather. The weather is about to get, of course, the summer is getting hot. You know, down here in down south, it's hurricane season about to pick up. It's about to start, Salakia. All right, which that also massacres crops. Which down here in Florida, in certain areas, there's large cornfields and other plants and things like that as well. That's needed. So the Most High is striking this place, man. 2012, Salakia, and drought conditions in the Midwest could dramatically affect yields, keeping a watchful eye on the on it, pretty much. All right, it says it's 89, and the timber grows near Taylor, Illinois, I guess, and is always the first sign to show the drought stress of corn. My lawn and hydration are also the other first natural indicators of the drought stress. And there's another picture. I don't know if I can play this video or not. I don't know. Sometimes it'll lead you to something else. But it says the first sign of drought's rootless corn syndrome. Please let it rain. And the Most High might not throw no rain, man. The Most High might just let this place suffer. Lord will, He does. Well, He already is making this place suffer. Lord will, He makes them crops. He destroys those crops. The drought, according to the News Weekly, could be the worst in 3 decades since 1983 to 1985 North American drought. It is still uncertain whether the reports will be significantly selected to stabilize corn futures, and maybe the drought corn belt states is being exacerbated by El Nino. Right, right, El Nino. I guess that's I guess that's a name for like the heat or whatever. How they name hurricanes and things like that. I guess they name like drought, like heat waves and shit like that too, I guess. All right, but yeah, man. We just read the importance of corn, how important corn is, and corn is needed, and the U.S. corn crop is deteriorating. So the Most High is striking this place, man. All right, real quick, just few precepts. When my phone knocks out. Matter of fact, I could have read that one in Exodus first, but let me read this. That's the first one I thought about in Exodus. Even though the Lord didn't bring a heat wave, He brought locusts and they ate the crops, but it's still a plague. And the Lord might just do that. The Lord might send locusts and eat Esau shit up too, eat them crops up too. All right, let's get this first. So like it. This is Second Ezra chapter 15 verse 11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. All right, so a plague, again like the plagues that the Lord brought upon Egypt. All right, like pestilence, frogs, blood in the water, so on and so forth, things like that. Um, a drought also counts as a plague. Or what does it do? It destroys crops. All right, crops need rain. and the Most High don't send any rain, all right, then those crops will dry out. All right, so again, that's what they're expecting. The Most High may not send any rain there. And again, we just read how important corn is. All right, used for food, for fuel, for gas or whatever, livestock, and of course for human consumption. So corn is important. All right, and the Lord is striking this place with with a drought of corn. All right, how like I just mentioned, I was actually reading that. Where is it? 10 and how far down it is. Even though again the Lord sent locusts. Okay, here it is. Sent locusts and they ate, and the locusts ate up the herbs and all of that. All right, the Most High still could do that. The Lord could send locusts and finish the crops off, or bugs and stuff like that, and finish certain insects and things like that, and finish the crops off. But a drought also counts as a plague because it's destroying the crops. Droughts were meant to destroy crops, which is a plague. A plague is meant to destroy things. All right, or destroy. This is Exodus chapter 10, verse 14. And the locusts went over all the land of Egypt and rest in all the coasts. And again, I know it's not locusts, but still the point is the crops got destroyed. All right, of Egypt, and very grievous were they before them. And there were no locusts. There were no such locusts as they, neither after them shall be such. So it was, the Lord sent a bunch of them, and they covered the face of the whole earth. So the land was darkened, and they did eat every herb of the land and every fruit of the tree, which the hail had left, and there remained not any green thing in the tree or in the herb of the field through all the land of Egypt. All right, so one of the purpose of the Lord sending those locusts was what? To eat up the herbs, eat up the fruit, eat up every green thing, eat basically plants. All right, now the Lord's not doing it right now, with locusts and things like that, which the Lord may do, just speaking as a man, but He's doing it by way of droughts and natural disasters as well. All right, because a few years back the Lord uh sent a blizzard through the Midwest and it destroyed the crops. All right, so the point of that was the Lord sending those locusts was to destroy food, again, crops and things like that. And now the Lord is doing it by way again of droughts, basically by way of weather, which still counts as a plague because it's destroying the crops, which is obviously going to create a problem if America uses it for gas, human consumption, and to feed their livestock, which they're killing off the livestock too, left and right. So this place is just getting jacked up on every angle, every which way. All right, and also, let's get that too in Genesis with our forefather Joseph. This is Genesis chapter 47 verse 13. And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore. So the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan, which is the land of Jerusalem, which the Lord probably is going to strike that place too. All right, because them rats in there, fainted by reason of the famine. Right, fainted by reason of the famine. So the Lord, like I said, smite Egypt with plagues before. One of the plagues that the Lord brought upon Egypt in the time of our forefather Joseph was a famine. All right, and it looks like we're definitely headed towards that way right now. All right, with that, and they're also burning down processing plants left and right. So it's a beautiful thing, man, that's going on. The Most High is stretching His hand out against this place. All right, this is Let's see where to start. Okay, yeah. Second Ezra chapter 16, verse 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mourning, the beginning of famines and great death, the beginnings of wars and power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine, plagues, tribulation, and anguish are sent as a scourge for the amendment. Right, the Lord said that, the Lord's striking this place with famine, man. All right, and a lot of people are going to start at this. Jump down to verse 22. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish in famine. Right, a lot of people in America are going to starve to death. and others that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So again, the Lord is going to kill a lot of people by way of famine, cause them to starve to death. And we clearly see it again with the crops deteriorating, them burning down processing plants, food processing plants, you know, killing a lot of the livestock. Oh, a few years, it was like a couple years ago, also that drought, where they blamed it on a drought. They killed all those cows, and I think it was in Kansas. I forget exactly where it was. They killed all them, that counted as a plague, and they blamed it on the heat wave. They said that the heat wave killed them, which it could have. The Most High could have just sent a devastating heat wave and killed those cattle, but who knows? The point is they died, and and that's all by way of the weather. So weather is also counts as a plague because it destroys shit. Again, a plague is meant to destroy shit. All right, which is what's happening now with this. So that I pray this lesson was edifying. Salaki, I want to give all praise, Lord. I went too all over the place. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and safety to you, brothers that push this truth and sincerity. And with that, I'm saying shalom.